The Aurora.
The Aurora. This story won the Palanca first place last year. No? I know people don't care about awards. I don't until I win.
So loser.
I know people don't care about awards unless they win. I'm sorry. But no, Aurora's is such a great story, and I'm just so excited to let people read it. No, it's really incredible. It's mind-blowing.
You na yung description.
Oh,
okay.
Parang,
all right. Because we want to focus on the authors that are here, okay?
Hindi, maganda talaga. Maganda talaga.
Malupit.
Maganda talaga.
Were you a judge for that?
No, maganda talaga. It's really such a lush, great story.
Oh, no, malupit yung Aurora.
The language is just perfect. The language is perfect. And Sasha's always been such a parang beautiful writer, no?
Yeah, she was my student.
That's why siguro parang
Salamat, Sir Krip.
all right. With her cat Keanu Reeves and her mouse and her rat Krip Yuson. Thank you.
Moving on.
The next is Flyover Country by Ian. I'll read the...
Hi, that's me, Lilian.
Sige, what is the story about and why? What is the story about and why? Is it a gay romance set in Iowa? Because it is. Ian Rosales Casocot, beware of writers with 3 names, is a novelist and teaches film, literature, and creative writing in Silliman University in Dumaguete. He's won the Palanca Award several times and has also won the NVM Gonzalez Prize, a PPPY Salanga Writers Prize, and the fully booked / Neil Gaiman Philippine Graphic Fiction Prize for his fiction. His books include Future Shock Prose, an anthology of young writers and new literatures, old movies and other stories, beautiful accidents stories, heartbreak and magic, stories of fantasy and horror, Inday Goes About Her Day, and the lives of bamboo girls. In 2008, his novel Sugarland was longlisted in the Man Asia Literary Prize, the biggest prize for the novel in English in Asia. He was a writer in residence for the International Writers Program of the University of Iowa in the United States in 2010. He's currently the coordinator of the Adilberto and Edith Tiempo Creative Writing Center.
Ian Casocot is currently in Dumaguete, but did he send anyone to claim his money? Wow, wala. 10,000 na yung pa!
So, nabasa mo ba yung story?
Ang ganda! Ito naman tayo in vague generalities.
Binasa ng ghost reader ko.
Sabi ng ghost reader ko, malupit.
No, it's a long story, 9,000 ba, something like that, no? But it's a terrific story it's a great, I mean, having been to Iowa and the stories about Iowa, it really captures the experience, no? Although, his is sort of a gay romance, and I've never really captured that experience yet.
We make no judgments.
Hindi, wala. Tsaka, who knows?
Okay.
I'm waiting here. Thank you. Okay na, na-post mo na yung tweet mo.
Facebook ka na.
Thanks. Loko lang ha, grabe.
Miss Snorlax ba? I'm gonna stop right now.
Okay, game. Ito, Snorlax audience.
Okay.
Dahil boring tayo.
Okay.
Go! The next story is by Brielle Tapora, The Woman of Santa Barbara. Mali. Those Who Don't Build. God damn. Okay, sorry. Dean? Ay, sorry. Isa lang ang kopya namin, God. Walang budget pagbili eh. Hindi pa nga namin kopya yan. Nakita ngayon ko lang naman, 375. Tinext ako ni Justin kanina, magkano ba yung libro? Hindi ko alam.
Wala ka akong kopya.
Pwede bang credit card?
Babaya. Teka muna, si Brian dapat nandito siya. He was here with us before when we were promoting
he was here?
This book.
Yeah.
But he was called to the office kasi responsible worker siya. Tapos may tinatapos siyang project. Kung hindi niya tinapos yun, wala siyang pangbili ng pagkain. Tapos iyak ang mga pamilya niya. Brian is a graduate of BS Bio from UST. He currently works as a TV writer. His screenplay won the second prize went the last year in the Palanca Awards, writing fellowship for poetry sa UST workshop at saka sa Silliman workshop, fellow for fiction sa IAS in Bacolod cities. His short stories and poems have been published in various places, including the Quarterly Literary Review, Singapore, and many other places. So,
By the way, may nag-walk out na.
Oo nga. Pero seryoso kami, nangyayari kami ng
Hang on, guys. You gotta hang on here. Okay? It gets funnier.
Ilabas yung pambiolo.
God.
Ikot-ikot namin yan. Braille wrote Those Who Don't Build. And he wrote this fascinating story about a machine that spits out poetry, which has become real. Right? There's something like that now. Or magical realism. Sige, thank you, Kate. All right, our next author.
Okay, our next story is Totems by Catherine Torres. Is Catherine here? Okay. Where is she?
She's in Germany.
Do. You do not do. Black shoe. Okay. Catherine Torres is a writer and diplomat who has lived in Manila, Tokyo. Ay pa pala. Manila, Tokyo, New Delhi, Singapore, and now Berlin. Her novel, Sula's Voyage, and her short story collection, Mariposa Gang and Other Stories, were released in 2016. I read that collection, it's such a great one. You may find out more about her and her writing at www.voyagewithsula.com and www.http://www.mariposagang.com. So Catherine Torres.
If your taste leans towards this ornate relationships with beautiful settings and this deep emotional, resounding, echoing feeling, okay? Catherine Torres is your writer. I had the pleasure of recommending her collection for publication to UST. She's fantastic. So check out her story here in our anthology, then buy her collection. Ang lupit. Sige.
Thanks so much. And the next story is The Woman of Santa Barbara by Vincent Gregory. Is Vincent here?
Nag-email din siya sa
Don't people
akin.
need money? Don't people need money nowadays?
No,
Oh, God.
sad ito.
No, sorry.
Vincent was, he had to fly to Iloilo, I think, yesterday because his father took ill. He was really looking forward to this launch. He would be emailing me or messaging me. So,
I'm dead.
Our prayers are with him. Ano ko ba ito, Sarge? Nare-record
Di ko
tayo.
alam.
Okay, sige.
Okay. Vincent's a young writer, no? So we're very proud to have very young writers here. Among them, Braille also, no? Braille Topor. The next story is by Mara Coson, no? Gojira, Tempura, Sakura, Tsukiji, Shinkansen, Izakaya.
Alin dyan ang nakakain?
Ngayon, it really reads like a series of hashtags from Instagram. But no, really, Mara Coson is a writer based in Manila. She co-founded the Manila Review and is currently completing her first novel. So that story is part of her is part of a collection, I think, a small collection, and it's really very, very exquisitely written. Now, I just want to say something more about this story because it's such a pleasure to read, and it's very, very contemporary. I have to say. So Mara Coson is one of it's really a discovery. So I really hope you get to read it because it's so incredibly written.
You know how it is once in a while, you're a reader or a writer, and then you come across a story, then you say, pagkabasa mo, oh shit, sana.
No, it's and this is a compliment. It's not even a parang it's so polished that it's just really a fantastic story.
Unahin ko na. Cristina Ong Muslim cannot make it. She's based in Mindanao.
Cristina Ong Muslim.
Kasi nga, nationwide.
Christine Ong Muslim is the author of several books of fiction and poetry: Age of Blight, Butterfly Dream, Lifeboat, A Room Full of Machines, and We Bury the Landscape. Her poetry collection, Black Arcadia, is forthcoming from the UP Press. She also serves as poetry editor for Lontar, the Journal of Southeast Asian Speculative Fiction, a literary journal published by Epigram Books in Singapore, and co-editor with Nelo Hopkinson of the Lightspeed magazine special issue, People of Color Destroy Science Fiction. Widely published in magazines and anthologies, she grew up and continues to live in a rural town in Maguindanao. I've also read Christine's stories. I don't know her, but she's a great read and a great discovery for everybody who comes across her. And she's really garnered a lot of praise internationally as well
yes.
for her collections.
I was lucky to meet her in Davao.
The next, let's skip that. What we've left unsaid by Vince Imbulan. So,
Hindi maganda yung kwento. No. Vince Imbulan has won the National Book Award for his work in Isaw at Ibapa, for Siglo Freedom and for Siglo Passion. He has received a citation in the year's Best Fantasy and Horror for his short story, and his fiction has appeared in several volumes of the annual Philippine Speculative Fiction Anthologies, the Free Press, Digest of Philippine Genre Stories, as well as the Farthest Shore. He's a proud founding member of the Lit Critters Writing Group, and has served as an editor for A Time for Dragons from Anvil. And the good news is he's here. So we'd like to introduce
to read
Vince Imbulan.
Don't say pot, bawal na ngayon yan.
Please stand up and read an excerpt of your story. You stand here. Papalakpakan ka namin.
Yes.
Kailangan guwapo pagbasa.
Pwede bang 2 paragraphs lang?
Okay. Short lang. Thank you.
Okay. The shy one.
Kwento mo ba yan?
Kasi ayaw ko basahin yung Ian.
Okay, sige.
Troy. I never thought I could kiss another man and beat it. It was just a game. Just something different to try out. At least, that's how it started for me. I mean, I know some guys who knew right off that they were gay, no question. But me, I guess I was just too into myself to really notice other people, male or female. I had the requisite flings in high school, of course. I was too popular not to have a girl or two hanging about. It was nice, and it completed the package I wanted to present to the world. I was popular, don't get me wrong, I still am, and I wanted the world to be as into me as I was. I gained quite a rep in those days. I've still got quite a rep today. I may have fucked up some of the time, but nobody's perfect, not even me. College was a long string of girls from different courses. There was Betty from Complit. She knew how to give fantastic head. Then there was Trina, who squealed like a pig whenever I ground into her. She was a hot one. Before her, I was with Jenny from the Kalayaan dorm. I was a lonely freshman, away from home for the first time, and she was easy enough to get into bed. But after a while, she became too much to handle, talking about marriage. What the fuck, right?
Teka, fiction nakalagay dito. Bakit parang non-fiction?
We asked you to read an excerpt
Sabi namin
of your
mag-read ng
story,
excerpt, hindi
not to
mag-sharing.
tell. This is not a sharing session.
It's a sham, it's a sham.
Nakakahiyak. Shame.
Anyway,
Shame on
but
you.
seriously, okay, for someone's fiction to read like non-fiction, there's gotta be something there. So guys, I mean, that's something.
That's Vince Imbulan, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you. At the next, envelope. Yeah, don't worry. Baka mag-walk out ka rin. Okay, game. Next. Okay, the next is, I know Margie's here, and Margie's one of my, oo nga, The Man, the Pit, and the Dismantling of Metro Manila. Sorry, it was not complete. It's part of the mystery. But, part of the mistake, actually. But no, Margie's one of my favorite fictionists because ever since I read a story of hers about a yaya who spoke in Yaya Speak, I was really always looking forward to every single thing she wrote. I know that I'm not even reading her biography, sorry. Okay. Marguerite Alcazar de Leon is author of People in Panic, a collection of short fiction, which I've read, which is great. Her stories have also seen print in various national publications. She works at Rappler, in which she publishes the occasional essay that gets many people angry and upset. Not so occasional now.
Yeah.
So, so she's here, Margie De Leon.
Marge? While she's on her way, ako naman, I encountered Marge when she submitted a story to our anthology, Philippine Speculative Fiction, about food in a refrigerator who murder each other. So it's mind-blowing.
Hi, thank you guys.
book. Oh, good. Like, do we split the pot? Yeah. Yeah.
50-50.
Okay, thanks.
I think we're the only two on.
Okay, great.
Andrea Gredon is right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, it's fine. It's 5,000 each. Sure, whatever. Okay, so I wrote a story.
That's Zimbabwe dollar.
I wrote a story a little after Yolanda, and certainly before this new administration. So, baka medyo if yung context. I know most of you are probably from Manila, and most of you have probably been stuck in traffic, and probably felt like the best thing to do was just to bulldoze the entire city to the ground, or like set fire to everything. So this is my ode to you guys. He was against the project for sure, literally obliterating the metropolis to start from scratch, and without warning, to prevent any plans of sabotage, was horrific enough an idea. But when the MMDA core group decided that it would still push through with the project regardless of whether every single citizen had evacuated or not, lives to be damned, he knew they had something outright vile in their hands. He had quit that job very soon after. Remember Yolanda? Panopio had asked his staff, referring to the super typhoon that ravaged eastern Visayas in 2013. He somewhat did. He is around 7 then, and could only remember TV footage of whole towns in ruins, countless cloth-covered corpses with pixelated limbs in view. As time went on, the affected areas never really managed to recover. He later on learned that when the eastern Visayas found out that most of the massive amounts of foreign aid were being pocketed by government officials, with a little trickle here and there to keep up with appearances, something just snapped in them. They had never felt such an intense mixture of disgust and helplessness, a piercingly clear example of being screwed in all directions. So, despite the immense number of rallying cries to rise from the disaster and change for the better, they just suddenly gave up trying to rebuild their lives altogether. Fuck this, they all said, then dropped their hammers and their stethoscopes and their detailed Excel spreadsheets, moved in with kin from other provinces and just never looked back. There is no doubt that it was one of the worst things to ever happen to the Filipino people, Panopio went on. But this deconstruction is different. It is a project. It is done on purpose, and its purpose is to do good. Yolanda was an instance of pointless destruction. It was an act of God. It had no meaning beyond itself. It was something we could choose to ignore because we didn't ask for it. The Manila Deconstruction, on the other hand, is a very concrete means to a very concrete end. We are doing this 100,000% on purpose, and its purpose is to create. Creation. That's what we're doing. By doing this, we will finally get to create the Metro Manila everyone daydreams about. The Metro Manila with proper infrastructure, designed by Bjorn, one of the best urban planning agencies in the world. The Metro Manila where pedestrians, bikers, and commuters are top priority. The Metro Manila where no communities are gated, where housing projects are neat, spacious, and built to last. The Metro Manila where malls can't just expand and expand till the skies are choked with concrete. The Metro Manila with an honest-to-goodness seawall. The Metro Manila with actual parks full of actual trees. The Metro Manila you can wake up to and never dread, where you can step out of your home and truly, honestly tell yourself that you love where you live. I could go on and on about how fantastic and glorious this Metro Manila will be, but first, let's go get rid of this one.
Thank you so much, Margie.
Thanks, Mark. The next author, Andrew Grilon, is not here. He's in New York. Okay, but maganda tong New Dogs of Magtagal ng kwento na yan. Please check it out. Our next author?
Should we read this?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very talented young writer. He's an artist and he has a lot of publications. Move on.
Okay. The next is We Tame the Sea by Bernice Castro. A new name for me when I read
Yes.
so I think she's here. Is she
She's
here?
here. She's
Supported by
Oh,
mom
she's
and
here.
dad and they took their picture.
No, I mean, and it's always so heartening to read young writers who are really good.
From someone new.
Are you? Yes. May we invite you here
You
to...
could read her.
Okay, I'll read her. I'm sorry. So it's too excited to... No, honestly. Kasi, alam mo, traffic talaga ngayon, di ba? Kaysa mag-post tayo at mag-contribute tayo sa bandwidth problem, di ba? Basahin na lang natin to. I mean, it's just, no, really. Some of the stories are easy reading, but all of them are amazing, and I think, it's really just fun, no? So, Bernice Castro is currently a creative writing major from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, UP Diliman. She lives in Bataan with her family, 3 dogs, and a rather large collection of theology books. When not working towards her getting her degree, she's trying to cultivate her geek cred by depositing morally ambiguous characters into AUs, alternate universes. And
You're betraying your age.
alam ko parang...
Mabuti you caught yourself.
Oh, hindi, honest ako, hindi ko alam yan. And reworking, hindi ako on fleek, and reworking modernist poetry into her own prose. She blogs at postbernicism.wordpress.com. This is her first published short story. We're so proud of this.
This is her first published short
Thank you. Thank you for choosing us over spec-fic, anthology, anthology. Ano ba anthology mo ngayon, Dean? Ano ba yung sorry?
Which one? Kasi I just published 4.
It's not really the... Okay, quantity. Okay.
Hi guys, this is actually the first story I submitted for publication. I'm so grateful.
We're grateful. Calm yourself. This is your moment, by the way. Okay? This is your moment. Your parents are here. They're gonna take pictures. They remember this. Sarge and I are here, and the
Is that your dad? I thought he was Victor Ocampo. The writer.
Okay.
The writer.
Go for it.
Okay, breathe, take your time.
Go for it.
It's easy. He chants like he's made for war, but he knows the poetry she knows. He goes beyond the 6 absences allotted them, but he makes sure never to miss a group study session. He's a paradox. When have you ever expected a rich boy to drop everything he has to his name, only to fight alongside those who have nothing? He's new to her. Marga has been in university almost 2 years, but he is new, and somehow hers. What you have to understand, Marga, even though her name is rearranged to fit her context, is still maganda. Boys, men even, will lay down their arms if she asks them. And 2, Kael, even though his name is rearranged to fit his context, is still malakas. But in the face of her beauty, he is weak. He has pledged to let her pick him apart and choose what she deems fit. This is what she picks: his upbringing, his education, and his expensive social graces. This is why Marga feels particularly comfortable around Miguel, regardless of all the texts he carries in his bones, regardless of the vocabulary a father would deem as propaganda. And some of them, she thinks, are, but it doesn't matter. This is why they find in each other a friend. Because if you strip Miguel of all he is now, what will be left is a skeleton of a boy who had always been taught to stand straight, because good posture denotes good breeding, to open doors for girls because it's not an operation in the context of sexism, and he had been rich once. And as uncommon as it is for a creative writing major, currency is a language that Marga speaks best. This is how you craft a boy that a girl should want. You give him all the characteristics that she knows to be hers, and you give him a hard-set jaw, and a collection of things to fight for that she should wish to understand.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming also.
Bernice, once you get published, you're part of the community of writers, which means that you are expected to write more and publish more. We have our eyes on you. Okay? Okay, we're proud of you. We're very, very proud.
I'm also proud of our next writer,
Oh,
Justine
yes.
Camacho Tahanan. who wrote The Woman Who Could Be in Two Places at the Same Time. Both of her are here.
No, she's
Tama ba
here
yung grammar,
and
no?
in the
Both
other.
of her.
Both of her are here and there.
Oh. And I wish that Ian Kasokot, Sasha Martinez had read her story so that they could know how to be in two places at the same time.
Hashtag hurtful.
Or they have, and they just don't want to be here. So, may we call on Justine. What? Sorry, read. Oh my God, grabe na to. Next time, pwede bang 8 writers na ang daming ano yan. Okay. Justine Camacho Tanganera was born and grew up in Cebu City, Philippines. Despite starting a corporate career in telecommunications, she was my client in Globe. She pursued her master's in literary and cultural studies to keep her close to her first love of literature and writing. She's had her poetry published in several anthologies and local publications, and just published several books. Our team is Let's Go, A Portrait of Jade, JNP and the Endless Loop, The Mermaid from Siquijor, Bayawak's Trail, and Gift Poems, her first collection of poetry. She maintains a blog, Claiming Alexandria. She works full-time at a corporate job in the Philippines, is married, and has 2 children with whom she homeschools with her husband. She's not 75 years old, as this wild bio might seem. She's here, Justine.
Yeah, I do wish I could be in 2 places at the same time. Stella was a woman who could be in 2 places at the same time. She managed this feat exactly only 3 times during her life. The first time it happened was purely accidental. She had woken up one Sunday morning before anyone else in the apartment. It was still dark, so she brewed herself some coffee. She wasn't annoyed at all that she had risen earlier than usual. She was glad to be alone at such an hour, the husband and kids still asleep. Finally, she had a few moments to herself. She filled up her cup and sat by the window of the apartment, the one facing the east. The sky was starting to lighten with the dawn. She watched it turn a dark blue, and then different shades of violet and pink, and then finally she saw the sunrise. That and the aromatic black coffee made her feel a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. At that moment, she looked at the horizon. The distant mountains there were sometimes blue or sometimes purple when she found the time to look at them. But this particular morning, she wanted to be in the mountains. It was a very pure longing. And then she was in the mountains. She was just in her fluffy bedroom slippers, her nightie and silk robe hardly thrown on. She hadn't even combed her hair yet. But indeed, she was along a mountain road at dawn. She could see the city below in the valley and lower hills. She wasn't too startled at first. It was like a dream. She still had her coffee cup in her hands. She just walked along the road, feeling the morning breeze and feeling blessed for this amazing gift. She was surrounded by trees. No one else was on the road. But then it began to sink into her consciousness, the disorientation. How was she supposed to get home, and who was going to cook her family's breakfast since the maids were on their day off? It was this mounting panic that totally destroyed her peace at finding herself in a faraway mountain. And this is what catapulted her back to her apartment. She stood up and looked at the horizon again. Was that real? She asked herself. She tried thinking of going back to the mountain, but nothing happened. She knew it wasn't a dream. Her bedroom slippers were wet with dew. But look at the time. She found herself dismissing what happened, and she flew into a whirl of breakfast preparation so the kids could have some scrambled eggs and fried rice as soon as they woke up.
Thank you.
Maganda yung kwento na yan. Mukhang cool na cool yung main character. Nag-appear lang siya. Ako, okay, I appeared somewhere. I don't have cigarettes. I'm gonna die. Our next author.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, nasing it, baka I might forget. There's so many spec-fic stories in this volume. And I just want to say, really, it's Dean who's been really responsible for the success of spec-fic. So I just want to... No.
Hashtag hugot.
What about me? What about me?
Si Sarge.
No, just kidding.
Guwapo.
The next...
The next story is Exit Quiapo Station by
Okay lang.
Singapore-based writer Victor Ocampo.
Yes.
Vic wanted to be here, but he could not make it. Vic has had many publications here and abroad. And this just goes to show, look, when we cast our net to invite Philippine writers, Filipinos, okay? We got entries from all over the archipelago. We published one from Mindanao, for example. But we also got Filipinos who were living and writing in Germany, in Singapore, in different places. So, fantastic, diba? Our last story is Termini by Mike Samson. And the interesting thing here is, if you take a look at this volume, the first one, he's here. He is our only repeat author. Kasi malupit.
Parang take two sa bar exam yan.
Sadly though, he's now past the age limit. So hindi na siya pwedeng mag-appear sa susunod. Okay? He is represented, I think, by his dad. Are you here, sir? Yes.
So, do you want to read or just collect the check? Thank you.
I think we all agree.
No, sorry. Michelangelo Samson's dad is Tony Samson. He's also a writer. He writes he's written 4 or 5 books. Sorry, was I wrong? 6. Who's counting? 6 books.
So it runs in the family.
It runs in the family. Although he's the better writer now. He's the father because he's here.
So those are our baker's dozen plus one.
So I think we should give a big round of applause to all the thanks to all the writers, and really it's been such a pleasure reading all the stories. No?
Do you have a next slide?
Yeah, I have a next slide. So our next announcement is Maximum Volume 3. May cover na. Our covers were designed by really great artist Romel Hoso. No? He's a young artist. He's a visual artist, and he has an upcoming group work.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
you
fantastic.
wait because this is washed out because of the projection. We'll post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Ang lupit. Ang galing.
Okay, so the deadline is February 2017. So I noticed that everybody here seems to be under 45.
Yeah, but some of us
Please.
are married.
So please give us a chance. I mean, you might want to submit to Dean's anthology, but
Pero dito may
11
bayan
na
ako.
yun, 11. No, but seriously, we're already now we're formalizing the call for entries. No?
Yes.
February 7, 2017. We just have to be firm on the date. February 30 ba or 31? No, so please everybody take note of this, and we really look forward to your stories.
Spread the word, and Bernice.
And before we
Again.
make question and
Subukan mo
answer portion pala, no?
Yeah.
Before that, I really want to thank Anvil, no? Gwen, Annie, and before she moved on to Ateneo Press, of course, Karina, who really supported this project. No? They knew, ang malungkot dito, alam nila hindi kikita to. No? So, I'm sure. Gwen, no? Kumita ba? Sorry.
Hindi niya masagot.
Guys, kailangan natin naman, no? 1,000 likes is 1 peso, parang ganun. No, and really they've been behind this project, and we're so happy to have them. So, thank you very much.
Anvil is...
Thank you very much, pero hindi nila alam na may slide kaming ganito.
so surprise, Anvil, you're doing it again.
Thank you again.
So thank Anvil and our partner also at Al Books.
So we have time for a few questions. If you have, please.
Is your question, where's the money that we've been bragging about? Where is the money we have been... Okay, sige. Any questions?
Ganun.
Sige.
Yes.
Yes.
When? Thank
Ikaw
you
ang
for...
magtatanong. Sige.
Kasi lahat dito kasama.
Oo nga.
And I think
Yeah.
the question on everyone's mind is, how did you select?
Okay. Sorry.
Yan ang mahirap. How?
Sige.
Our process,
Totoo na to. Totoo.
Our process is like this. So we issued out a call for submissions, and then we earmark a deadline. Prior to that deadline, nagpapadala na ng mga entries ang mga tao. And Sarge and I, we collate that. And we list it all in an Excel spreadsheet. And we begin sorting those things out. By the deadline itself, we will now print out all of the stories, and we read each and every story. So we allocate a lot of time for this. stories that are of interest to either one of us, we mark, and then we exchange stories. Then we set a meeting to discuss. If there are stories that we immediately agree upon, then they are in the anthology. If there are stories that I feel are good but he doesn't like, I will move heaven and earth to convince him. If I cannot convince him, it doesn't go in. Same thing with him. Because you need to advocate for a story. It's possible that Sarge saw something that I, in my prejudice or bias as an editor or writer, did not see. So the nice thing is that because we know each other, we are open to each other, but we know that we think differently also. So it's not like we just get together, knock down beers, and randomly, let's put this story in. Also, we need to be custodians of our budget, and we really swore we would just choose 10. But it became 14, which just goes to show na talagang...
Hindi, alam natin, si Ian nasa Dumaguete, si ano. Anyway, no. Go ahead.
So, process-wise, it's like that. You can rest assured that your submission is read. Even if it pains me to read it. Kasi, why are you punishing me? Because there are stories that are punishment. Pero sanay na din kami ni Sarge yan. Sarge has edited a number of anthologies and he edited a magazine that would publish stories weekly. I publish anthologies, which means that I get a lot of entries also. So, ang gusto lang namin mangyari is galingan niyo yung pagsulat. Enough to get us past the first page. Okay? Kasi pag parang pangit, yes, we will finish it, but we're already tagilid. So, we do read everything. We earmark. We wrestle with each other. We argue. Once we have our list of stories, then we will check now with the author. Oh wait, prior to that, we will edit. Well, we will see if there's any copy editing that needs to be done or things that need to be clarified story-wise. Then we coordinate with the author. And then after that entire process, then it becomes ready for publication. But it isn't that fast. If it were a digital book, mas mabilis. But of course, we need to deal with publishing schedules and the real world with the publisher. So it does take time to publish a good book. But a good anthology begins at the very start with a good writer writing a good story. And then making sure to submit that story. Because there are good writers who don't write good stories. There are good writers who write good stories but don't submit because they're insecure or afraid. You know what? Rejection is part of life. You take it and you learn from it. Okay? So that, to answer your questions, what we do.
I also want to add, of course. I also want to add that it's strange, how do you edit an anthology, diba? And I think my personal, and I guess Dean's also, is the literary quality of the story. When you say literary, what does literary mean? No? I'm going to attempt, I've always attempted the definition, but I've never written it down because it's not, it's just a dodgy definition, no? Or something that has, something, it's my time. No, it's something that has depth, no? And that's for me. But what I'm saying is, of course, an anthology is always defined by its editors. And what comes out here may not necessarily be great stuff to others when you think about, what's literature, no? But to me, I guess, gathering a collection, choosing a collection of stories written by by Filipinos has to carry with it a sort of political quality, no? Na, yes, this is our idea of what a good story is, no? It was Gwen's idea to put best, no? Pero parang okay. Pero parang, honestly sa amin, hindi parang wow, best, no? Pero we would like to say that this is this is sort of the most literary batch out of everything that was submitted to us. And I don't know how to describe literary. But that said, it's important to come out for me also as a print edition because it really establishes the need for reading and writing in a vacuum. How funny before the push toward being more social and everything. whether you're writing or you're reading or you're sharing, was such a great, parang almost a sort of humanitarian mission, no? Perhaps now we can look at this as a mission to write and read in silence and away from everybody, away from everything. And maybe that's what understanding and realizing what the value of writing is about.
And it's a bit of a trick. We talk about maximum volume, but you read the book away from your cell phone, away from your tablet, away from your earphones, and it's the words on the page that leap towards you, and your mind is filled with their sound, and that's what that means. So, thank you once again. Please buy the book, spread the word, be good to each other. I love you all.